Presented by Game Arts!
Recently, I've been watching StuTube stream the first Grandia game on the PS1. Watching him play through it made me realize that I wanted to play the game again myself, but then I remembered that I had a title on the Saturn that I've been wanting to check out for a while called Grandia Digital Museum. This game is basically an expansion pack for the original Grandia. Justin, Sue, and Fina are teleported to a museum that Liete has created to honor their deeds in the first game. Most of the exhibits have gone missing, and it's up to the party to explore 4 dungeons and restore the items to their rightful place. And that's pretty much it as far as story goes. You get a tiny bit of dialogue when you enter each dungeon, and a tiny bit of dialogue before and after boss fights, but nothing else. The focus of the game is exploration, combat, and unlockables, which is fine by me, as the Grandia games have my favorite battle system of any RPG. When you start the game, you will already have a few of the museum's artifacts in your inventory, which will unlock some really cool bonus features like concept art, save files to relive your favorite moments in the original Grandia, minigames, and more. Some of the minigames are quite fun, like the Pants of Fina, which have you defending Fina's granny panties in a tapper-like game. There is also a home run derby, a whack-a-mole game, and even a text adventure. More bonuses will be unlocked as you find more of the museum's items. In Grandia Digital Museum, you will only be playing as Justin, Sue, and Fina. The other party members are scattered around Olent, but they are merely NPCs here. Your team will start off at around level 25, with a majority of spells and skills learned. There is still some grinding you can do to learn more abilities and level them up. I recommend grinding Justin's water spell immediately so he can learn Yomi, which is a resurrection spell. The other 2 characters already have that spell learned when you start the game. All the dungeons are available to explore right from the start, but there is a definite order you should go in. Enemies are a bit stronger in certain locations, although if you are really good with the battle system, you might be able to take down a few enemy groups in one of the advanced dungeons earlier than you're supposed to. I recommend starting with this dungeon here, then do this one next, followed by this one, and finally this one. The dungeons are not as confusing as they were in the first game. The spots on the map that let you zoom out and get your bearings are gone, but are not really needed here. There is a bit of puzzle solving to do in these dungeons, but nothing too challenging. Same great combat has been carried over from the first game. Battles flow in an active time system, you have your typical RPG options like magic, items, and defend. But you can also disrupt enemy turns with certain attacks. Selecting combo will hit the enemy with a couple of strong strikes, but if you choose critical and time it just right, you'll be able to cancel the enemy's action. This is incredibly useful and doesn't cost any magic or special points, so definitely go ahead and abuse this technique whenever possible. Certain special attacks also have the ability to cancel enemy actions. These are much stronger, but they also use some of that character's SP. One thing I don't like about Grandia Digital Museum, which was also a problem in the first game, is when you find items. Instead of just having a little text box pop up stating what the item is, the game has to load an entirely new screen, which takes a couple seconds and feels like an eternity. Not sure why the developers chose to program the game in such an inconvenient way. This game has some really nice graphics. It features some great looking 2D sprites over 3D backgrounds. While the backgrounds may be a bit dated by today's standards, the sprite work is fantastic. When speaking to some of the NPCs and bosses, you get these beautiful little character portraits. Each party member has several of these, and it really gives the game a lot of personality. It's also cool that these character portraits are part of the bonus items to be unlocked. I really enjoyed these along with the concept art. It's nice to see all the work that went into Grandia's visuals. The music here is composed by Noriyuki Iwadare. Because this was intended as an expansion and not a new adventure, all the tracks have been lifted directly from the first game. This is perfectly fine since the soundtrack from that RPG was fantastic. One thing that has changed in the audio department is some of the battle cries for magic and special attacks. Beating this game is rather difficult, not because of challenging enemies, but because you can only finish the game by finding all the missing items, and many of these are hidden extremely well. There are 39 items in total, and a save point in Alent will let you know how many of these items are in each dungeon, and how many you have found. I managed to find 35, but just could not track down the last 4 items. I searched multiple times, but could not figure out where they were. The items I am missing are Film 7, and Monster Books 2, 5, and 6. If anyone has played this game and knows how to get these items, please let me know in the comments, as there doesn't appear to be a strategy guide for the game, and there are 0 walkthroughs online. Grandia Digital Museum is a short but fun adventure. It may be lacking in the story and character development department, but makes up for it with its excellent combat. It also doesn't overstay its welcome, clocking in at around 15 hours of playtime. If you'd like to buy this game, complete copies usually hover around the $10 mark. I also think this game should be fairly easy for non-Japanese speakers to pick up and play, especially if you have experience with other games in the series. And that will do it for this one. As always, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.